Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the next short story in the Midnight Fright collection that we've been doing a deep dive into out of 5 for you folks, and this is the Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, one of the classic short stories in Americana. So I'm going to be doing my review for you as a part of the show. It's the third story of 5. We've already reviewed the last one, The Horla by Guy de Maupassant, years ago. It was one of the first ones I did because I love it so much. And then I got this collection when I was in junior high for Christmas from one of my relatives. It was used at the time. I knocked it out right then and there. I knocked it out again a few years later in high school. And then I haven't gone back and reread it. So I knocked this out, Charlotte Perkins' The Yellow Wallpaper, once more for literature class. So this is now the 4th time and then the first time as an adult in decades that I've gone back and reread this. And now I don't have like this unique take on the Yellow Wallpaper. It's going to be different than, the people that are experts in this field, experts in her, experts in, literature from the era and so forth, right? I'm not an expert on it. I haven't taken this in in a literature class or something like that, other than the generic ones that you take in school, right? So I don't have, again, this unique take on Charlotte Perkins Gilman's The Yellow Wallpaper. I do think it's a horror short story, thus it's key for this. I think it's written like a horror short story, and although on the last page it's still written like a horror short story, the surprise ending that happens could probably convince you that it's probably not actually super secretly a horror short story, but I actually do think that it is. So I'm reviewing it for this channel. I does reviews of science fiction, horror, and fantasy works 3 times a week because I do think it counts as a horror short story because it's written like it and it feels like it, right? And it has like a lot of the tropes and slow revealing things and things that seem uncomfortable. In this case, the title, The Yellow Wallpaper, properly, and so forth, and then moving forward, right? So that's pretty cool. Now, I thought that this story was more well-known than it actually has been, according to the people that are like my age or a little bit younger, right? For example, I went to my office and I told them we were working on Sunday because it was check-in day. Normally we wouldn't work on a Sunday. And the night previously, Saturday, was my only day on the weekend. I was off. And I said, hey, look, I'm just read the Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman for the 3rd time for my channel that I do reviews for you folks for the next time, and I haven't read it in like decades and so forth. I thought that was pretty cool, and and my boss, who's just a few years younger than me, he was like, never heard of it, and he's like a pretty literate guy, right? He's pretty strong, well known. He's definitely a smart guy, right? So it definitely seems like a lot of people may not know about the Yellow Wallpaper. So this exists. it's an early short story. Now it is a key story to be read for a few different reasons. One is that it's an older short story that's good. And again, the name of my channel is The Worst Thing About New Books, which is a quote by a French philosopher named Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about new books was that they kept us from reading the old ones, right? And so a story like this that's more than 100 years old is definitely something that I definitely think is pretty cool to knock out for you folks. That's I think one of the values is that there's a lot of things that we've forgotten about or that are keys. In this case, it's canon, right? It's something that people have read and are familiar with. So that's also important to read too, because it's a part of the English canon in America. Second reason to read this thing is because it's well written. I'm giving it an A+ out of 10. There are a few places it probably could have been 3 or 4 pages shorter. It's probably a little bit too much description, not enough plot, but it's fine. It's definitely an A+. It's a strong short story, and it's well written and well regarded by people. So that's another reason to read it, because it's well written. A third reason to read it is because it was definitely something that started some trends in some things. For example, it is the first short story or subject matter to deal with postpartum depression. At the time, women weren't really considered reliable narrators after giving childbirth when giving reviews of things and talking about things that had happened to them physically or emotionally or mentally after they've given birth, right? And postpartum depression wasn't a thing according to the experts at the time and the doctors and so forth, which is sort of, chalked up to hysteria. So this is the first subject that takes that seriously. And then secondly, so that's got value. Also, this is a key feminist work from a lot of different angles. There's a lot of feminist interpretations out there. for this short story. So that's also a key reason to knock it out too. And it's well written, and it's a horror short story too. And I would make that argument to people who would disagree with me all day long. But anyway, your mileage may vary, and I'm fine with it if you disagree with me. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to lose any sleep because somebody on the internet disagreed with me. So anyway, so what's going to happen in this short story? So as a reminder, my reviews of these short stories are very short. I knocked it out a couple nights ago. It took me about 30 minutes for me to knock it out. It's about 26 pages in this short story. It's one of the longer short stories in this collection for you folks. And I'll link you to a free version online that I found before I went back to this collection. And that way you can go ahead and read it without having to invest any money. This is well past its copyright date. So anyway, what's happening is that our key characters our point of view characters are a woman who's married and has recently had a kid, and they're at a new house, and this house has a room in it that is a nursery, and the nursery has yellow wallpaper in it. And the female, our point of view character, is definitely not feeling comfortable and thinks that there's some secret evil to it, and has asked her husband to paint it, and he says no. And that's the start, like about 4 or 5 pages in of the 26 pages. So I'll go ahead and leave you to it there. But where does it go from there? And it's and those sorts of things, and then some increasing things will happen, as the course of as things progress from there, and from the evil thing. And what is hidden in the yellow wallpaper is a key point of contention. And again, I'm going to argue that because of that evil wallpaper context, right? That's where and how it's written and how it's relayed and what's believed by our point of view character. That's why I think it's a horror short story. But anyway, so that's my quick review for you folks. Again, I'm giving it an A+. Have you read the Yellow Wallpaper? Have you heard of the Yellow Wallpaper? Because a lot of people currently haven't. What did you think about it? Did you agree or disagree? Would you like to talk about the ending or the spoilers? Let's do it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, why not hit that subscribe button? There's going to be a lot more of these to follow. And then finally, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.